The strike action launched by a group of employees of the Ruhunu Magampura Port is still continuing. The employees also commenced a Satyagraha campaign this afternoon.
The employees charge that their jobs are at risk due to attempts being made to hand over the Hambantota port to a Chinese company, causing losses to the country. They call on the authorities to recruit them into the port's authority. A ship carrying vehicles and building material is currently anchored at the port, while a line of container trucks could be seen at the entrance to the port. The employees of the oil storage facility of the port also engaged in the Satyagraha campaign that was commenced today.
There are 22,000 tons of oil at the storage complex and 2,500 tons of gas. There is an automatic cooling system as well. If the power is cut off for some reason and if the cooling system does not function, there could be an explosion in that tank. We will not accept responsibility if this happens. That responsibility should be borne by the government.
The members of the All Ceylon Workers Union of the Colombo Harbour also engaged in a protest opposite the Khan Clock Tower against the decision taken by the government. Cabinet approval was granted to an epistle of the Joint Committee of Ministers to develop and hand over the Hambantota port to a Chinese company. As per the approval, powers have been vested to reach a new agreement with the China Merchant Port Holdings Private Limited after cancelling the agreement that was reached in 2014 with the China Harbour Engineering Company and China Merchant Holdings International Private Limited. However, the board members of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority in a letter to the subject minister says that the officers of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority should have been consulted prior to taking the initial decision and should have been included in the Secretary's committee.
China Merchant
Holdings Private Limited is paying $1,080 million up front and are trying to acquire the Hambantota port for 99 years, with 80% for China Merchant Holdings and 20% to the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. The Minister of Ports did not agree to this. The Board of Directors of the SLPA did not agree to this. Finally, a cabinet paper is forwarded vesting the power to sell the Hambantota port to the Secretary of the Ministry. This is a disaster. We ask the Secretary of the Ministry of Ports not to approve this. If you sign this, you will be the first in line to be taken to the FCID through the next government. The China Harbour Engineering Company suggested that 65% will be for them and 35% will be for the government. The upfront payment could be $740 million. Then Paskaralingam asked the China Harbour Engineering Company whether they can agree for an 80 to 20%. The company says they cannot make the decision at once. Then the China Merchant Holdings Company is called. Paskaralingam decides to give this to the China Merchant Company without looking at what is mentioned in the agreement. Paskaralingam, Charita Ratwatta and Arjuna Mahendran are the gang who are selling everything and earning money.
Hambantota for the Chinese, the eastern terminal of Colombo to the Indians. These are plans of Ranil Wickremesinghe. He does not have any concept for the country. He only knows of the profits and losses. There are some children who sell off the lands brought through the hard-earned money of their parents for their benefit. They do this to get their daily meal when they fall in trouble. That is what Ranil is doing.
Ranil Wickremesinghe mahathaya කියන්නේ ඒ ජාතියේ නම්බර එකේ පොරක්.
The loss suffered annually is 37,800 million a year. This is paid by the Colombo port. We have only received 300 million officially. How can we have only 300 million rupees when we need 6,350 million? When we try to correct what the incompetent administration has done, the finger is pointed at us.